Hello, Serge here for the Backyard Driving Range. All right, today we had a letter that came in, and somebody sent it to me, and I don't have the name on it, but this is going in a different direction. Normally, I get questions where you're asking me questions about the swing, or you're sending me something about what some other teacher said, and to clarify it as to PPGS, is it right or is it wrong or whatever. And I've done a few in the past with discussing things I've read in magazines, and how it differs from PPGS, and that I clarifying exactly what PPGS is. So sometimes it could be a little close, but I want to clarify it. This is a case of where something came in and it was sent to me because it's very much in harmony with PPGS. And you'll recognize it starts off by talking about a tour player, a Champions Tour player. He starts off by saying, in theory, PGA Champions players, Champions Tour that is, should have a shelf life. After all, every year there's a new set of 50-year-olds to put pressure on the aging stars, right? So, but 59-year-old Bernhard Langer is showing no signs of a slowdown. Langer scorched the field Sunday at the Regents Tradition, shooting a 64 to win his 8th senior major, tying Jack Nicklaus for most all time. Langer did it pretty much the way he always has, by driving the ball accurately and giving himself lots of birdie chances, right? What does the Serge always say? Fairways and greens. There's a whole theory that's been on the tour for years now that's called, probably going on 10, 15 years. They call it bomb it golf. The farther you hit it and get closer to the green, distance-wise, the better you're going to play. I don't quite agree with that. Yes, if you keep the ball in the fairway. A little, or to a lot, yes, depending on if you can keep it in playable rough. But as you find courses where the rough gets brutal, like U.S. Opens and sometimes a lot of the top courses with thick bed grass rough, and they let that grow, that stuff gets so thick, all you're doing is chopping it out. So, with that said, driving the ball accurately will never hurt you, unless you get in a divot in the middle of the fairway. He hit 80% of his fairways and 85% of his greens, and made just 4 bogeys to go with his 24 birdies, 20 under par. 80%. 80% would win the tour, PGA Tour fairways and reg by, I think, probably by at least maybe 5 to 6 or more points. The top teacher says Langer's mind is definitely stronger than most, but what he does with his swing is something easier for most players to copy. And I'm going to talk about his mind being strong. Langer has gotten the yips more than anybody that's ever been, and he's always come back. He's always found a way to putt and come back and play well. He's had putting woes that would trash most golfers, and he's still going at it, and going at it strong and winning. 59 years old, and still #1 guy out there. He's leading their Schwab Cup thing by a mile, I think, right now. So, why is it that some players like Langer, Sam Snead, and Tom Watson seem to be able to play forever without getting hurt? And they're always around the leaderboard. I'd argue that it's because they're structurally sound. Structurally sound. Hello, how about that? We don't hear about that very much from anybody but a Sergeite, swing surgeon golf instructor. At address, Langer has all his joints lined up and over each other. Shoulders, hips, knees, and ankles, says Jacobs. He puts the least amount of stress on the muscles around the spine, and he's able to consistently accelerate the joints in sequence. What do I call the sequence? I call the swing the proper sequential movement of the parts of the body. It's starting from the ground up, like everybody says, but when we come up, it's a natural turning of everything around a stable center, and then we start with the lower body with a lateral shift, not a snapping of the left leg straight and a turning of it. Everything stays structurally sound. He puts the least amount of stress on the muscles all around the spine, and he's able to consistently accelerate the joints in succession. He's in position to do the same thing over and over with no pain or restrictions. Doing it this way puts the load and stress on your joints, which are designed to handle it, and not your back, which isn't. And he calls this centration. And I guess we could call I've never thought of that word, but he's staying centered, which is a good word. So what does he mean by everything's lined up? Well, what do I talk about a good setup? It's like you use the accordion effect, all right? You stand here, you stand up straight, take the club, you can stand here, and what? Your knees and shoulders go down together. and you're keeping your shoulders, you're keeping your spine relatively erect. There should be a little curvature at the base of your spine, right where your belt is, and the butt should be out a little bit. Your arms hang relatively straight down. All right. Now, where you get in trouble? You see a lot of guys reaching. All as soon as I do that, what's starting to happen when I reach? Look at my shoulders. They're starting to get pulled in a little bit, curled inward, stretching all these muscles out of balance, putting stress on the muscles here, all the way down. And now your body's fighting to maintain balance. Your brain is working double, triple overtime to maintain balance. The swings become much more, you see points in it where there's snapping or there's a radical movement rather than beautiful, nice, free-flowing sequences, and everything stays smooth. The difference between rock and rolling and waltzing, right? You can waltz the night away, but you can't rock and roll the night away. So this is by far one of the best things I've read in a long, long time. This pro is really in the right place for teaching golf. In fact, I wouldn't doubt what he teaches is really close to PPGS. I mean, there are some out there. There are some out there. In fact, some of them are start to realize things. I don't know whether because they read something about me or had some students that came to them, some Surgites come to them up in their area. But whatever, this is very, very refreshing to see, because again, golf should not be beating your body up. You should be able to make nice, smooth, flowing swings. Waltzing. Great article. Great terms. He's centration or centered. Keep the stress on your joints, not your back. PPGS all the way. Love it. That's it for today. And keep it the PPGS way, and you'll be hitting it much solider, more solid, straight, longer, and shooting those lower scores. That's it for today, and I'll be speaking with you all again soon.